Hi friends, good evening. How are you? Hope you are staying safe at whatever locations you are. So welcome to our live session series on Facebook, which we are taking on unanswered questions, and we have been taking for some few days, few past weeks. So we are getting comments from the interested viewers. So for today's issue and today's talk, we have Mr. Jayant Kumar Mohant, our revered guest. And let me give a brief introduction about him. Actually, Mr. Jayant Kumar Mohant, sir, he did his BTech and MTech from IIT Indore. Then he went for PhD also in the field of the robotics from the IIT Indore only. And then after that, he is pursuing his postdoctoral research at the IIT Kanpur. During his research program or PhD at IIT Indore, he has published several research papers and he has presented the research papers in the international conference also, like in Germany, in Turkey, including India. So today we have a very special guest with us who will answer our queries on this Facebook Live series of the unanswered questions. So today's issue or the question which is very much being asked by the viewers, which we have received in our comments or through some personal media, that what is the idol worship? Means generally we see that people, they believe that if something is there and it does not have some consciousness, then why we should worship it? So when we go to the temple, when we visit some temple, some Hindu temple or any temple, then we see the form of the god in the form of the deities, or some stone image is there, or some kind of image made of some material is there, and we worship that, just like we are having the exchanges with the human beings. So what is that? So I request sir to put light on that so that the viewers can understand clearly.
Okay, thank you, Arjun, for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
From the very regular research schedule, although everyone is at home, but like, in IIT Kanpur, the research is still on very, on a peak. It's like more than the regular one. But still, I thank you that, you invited me. So I'm happy. Like I'm very much happy answering such questions because like I was studying Bhagavad Gita from last 7-8 years, and I was also after this knowledge of what is this spiritual science about, and I was also exploring all such questions. When I was in the very beginning, I was also very much confused why people do such things which have no economic value, no national interest, nothing like that, practically no use in our day-to-day life. So, but when I got the answers, I was very happy when the actual answers why we do that. So first of all, I would like to tell you that, the first and foremost basic thing which I get to know in Bhagavad Gita was that we are not the body, we are spirit soul. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, we are not the body, we are spirit soul. And since we are spirit soul, so our need is actually spiritual. So anything of this material world cannot satisfy us. Only spiritual things can fully satisfy the spirit soul. So Krishna says that, the soul is fully satisfied when it deals with spiritual objects. And the nature of spiritual objects are Sat Chit Anand. Sat means it is eternal. But in this material world, everything is temporary. And Chit means full of knowledge. But in this world, the soul has to struggle for knowledge. And Anand, naturally it is blissful. But here, the soul does not get continuous pleasure. So, how to get this? So, that is being explained also in Bhagavad Gita.
We have the example also from day-to-day life in this pandemic situation, as you are saying that the same thing. Persons, they are too much obsessed nowadays that just for 1 month lockdown or 2 month lockdown, they are so much disturbed that they want to come out and do something hangover like that, because that thing is in the nature of the soul, because soul is human being is conscious, living entity is consciousness, so he has the nature to enjoy. Yes sir.
Yes, so that is like very, very important. And about the worship is a medium by which we connect ourselves to the supreme spirit. So we are spirit soul, and we have a relation with the superior spirit, super soul. and super soul, or we call it God. Somebody say Allah, somebody say Bhagwan. So we have a relation, and everywhere in this whole world, everyone has some kind of religion or some kind of faith that he has a connection with the superior authority or superior power. So that connection has different medium to express. But this connection has to be very authentic. On the name of the connection, you cannot cheat people. Um, like if I take a box and I paint it red and I put letter into it, it will, and I declare that this is a letter box. So that doesn't make sense. If I paint a box, paint it red, and put a letter into it, and I expect that it will reach to its destination, it may not reach. And you can understand the reason behind it. This is not authorized by Indian Postal Service.
Yes.
So similar way that the people who are worshipping Lord in form of any deity, or we can say idol. We don't worship idols. We worship deities. Idol means any form made up of stone or a metal. We call it idol. But the deity is a little different from idol. Then the deity has a particular form which is described in the scripture. And now you may say, oh, why so stereotypes? Why only scriptures has to be so emphasized? No, the way I told, the postal department has authorized a box which is called letter box, on which if you put letter, it will reach to destination. In the similar way, who should authorize that how your love, your messages, your services should reach to God? What authorizes that? God himself. God has made, God has made a channel. This is the proper channel by which any service, any kind of information or a message would come to me from the material world to spiritual world. Now, this again, I have read in Bhagavad Gita that there are two worlds. We have this material world. In the similar way, there is a spiritual world where all spiritual entities are residing. So how a message from this world reach to the spiritual world? It has to be a very authentic, bona fide and specified manner, or a medium. And that medium is called the deity. The deity, we cannot make it of any form. One deity of Janmashtami is coming, we have deity of Lord Krishna. That is very, very known deity. And Brahmaji says in Brahma Samhita, Shyamam Tribhanga Lalitam Niyata Swabhavam. Very interesting. Shyamam, his color is complexion of black. Shyamam Tribhanga, three bent form. It is bent from three portions.
Yes. Sorry, viewers, just some technical glitch. Sir will be back within few seconds.
So, Mr. Arjun, is it you are able to see me?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Arjun?
I am not able to see, sir. Yes, yes. Now you are visible. Okay, it's okay.
Okay.
Maybe
fine.
there may be some technical.
So, yes, correct. So the interesting thing was Brahmaji was describing about the form of God. So not any form is worshipable. So not any stone is a deity. No, you cannot worship any stone and every stone. But a particular way, there's a particular way of worship. There's a particular way the stone or the metal should be carved, and in a particular way it should reach. And and not the deity receive your services. It reciprocates also. You get return also. This is called reciprocation. By the reciprocation, we understand that we are having a relation. So that is the speciality of worshipping a deity. So
you are mentioning about the reciprocation. So my question, the general question which comes forth is how a stone deity, or which appears to be something which is not sensitive, which are not responding to someone who is looking at the deities, or just like a stone image, how it can reciprocate, or the stone deity who cannot even wave off the fly from its face, how it can respond to our prayers, or how it can reciprocate with the human beings?
Yes. So actually, in this world, if you have to believe, you cannot believe on just by speaking. It has to be some proof. There must be some incidents which have happened till now. So we have many, many examples. Those who have served the Lord, those who have talked to the Lord, those who have received reciprocation from the Lord. There's a temple near Odisha. There, my hometown. There's a station called Balasore. Just
Yes,
5 kilometers from Balasore railway station, there's a place called Shirichor Gopinath. Very interesting place. That deity is known as Shirichor because Madhavendra Puri was, I think, some 300 years back. He was there, and the deities have stolen pots of sweet rice. There was some sweet rice offered to the deity, and the pujari took out all the sweet rice, but 2 sweet rice pots he stole. And in the night, he came in the dream of the pujari and told that, these are the sweet rice I have stolen, so please give it to my devotee who is waiting at that particular place. In mid of the night, he woke up, and he get to found that there are actually 2 pots of sweet rice. And then he went out and searched for that particular person. Madhavendra Puri, are you there? Madhavendra Puri, are you there? He was in the marketplace. So he went there and he heard his name, and he went to get to know that, oh, deities have stolen this sweet rice for me. Oh, so he was very much aggrieved that, Lord has to steal from me. The similar way, there is another temple, a few 50 kilometers away from there. It's called Sakshi Gopal, where deity himself walked from Vrindavan, the very big deity. It has walked from Vrindavan to Odisha. My God, it's a very, and our, there's a king in Pratap. 500 years back, there was a king called Pratap Rudra. Lord Jagannath and Lord Baldev have particularly fought in his war for him, actually. Fought a war for him. There is a Raja Mansingh. Mansingh is a very famous king. Even Lord used to, on his behalf also, Lord has fought. So there is many devotee called Dasarathi. He used to talk to the Lord. And Lord told that, he asked, Lord, after this life, will I be getting a position in Vaikuntha? Lord said, no, because you're only serving me, not my devotees. In Vaikuntha, there are so many of my devotees are also there. If you serve my devotees, then you will definitely get an entry. So he said, okay, I will not get entrance into Vaikuntha. So he went to another devotee's house and he served there. So there are so many reciprocations. If you get to know just by recent history, I'm not talking about 5,000 years back, like Krishna telling Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, that is 5,000 years back. But recent history, 300 years back, 200 years back, even nowadays also somebody may be getting reciprocation, but it's not documented or it's not known to us. Many of the reciprocations are also still available in Mayapur diaries, where Lord Nrsimhadev have saved many of the people, and Lord Nrsimhadev have come into many people's dream and giving realistic information. So that is very amazing.
Another very relevant query which comes from the viewers or the general mass of the people is that we are discussing about the personal form of the deities. Like when we visit the temples and we see the deities have the hands, they have the eyes, they have the ears, everything they have just as human being we have. But they will give the conclusion from reading some other books. Some people, they say that how Lord can have any form, or he should not have any form. Why he should have any form? He should be impersonal or something like that.
Yes, so it's true. If somebody says that Lord doesn't have form, then Lord is not complete. Complete means it should have everything. If you said that this is not in God, that means Lord is incomplete. But no, Lord is complete. So he is both. He can exist as both personal and impersonal. In Bhagavatam, it is told that how Lord exists. Lord exists in Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, and Bhagavaniti Shabdate. So Brahma, in form of Brahma, he is everywhere, all pervading, impersonal. In form of Paramatma, he is inside each and every atom and with each and every living entity. He has many distributions, still he is one. Paramatmeti and Bhagavaniti, and he exists as in his own personal form called Bhagavan. So he exists in 3 different ways: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So Brahman has no form, but it is all pervading. Paramatma has a form, but it is same everywhere. In your heart, in my heart, in each and every atom, it is the same form. But That's called personal form of the Lord. Personal form of the Lord is very according to the quality and the way of reciprocation with his devotees. Like, you know, when he is dealing, like Krishna, if dealing with Yashoda Mai, he will become a baby. When dealing with Arjuna, he is like his friend. In the similar way, when he deals with other cowherd boys, he is like a friend. So with every dealing, he deals with like, you know, armies of monkeys. He's like Lord Ram. So he in his personal form, he's very sweet.
So we have like
And people may, like, you know, second part of your question was like human being. He is like, you know, Lord, they portray Lord as human being. So it is not the case. Like, you know, we have Matsya Avatar, we have Kurma Avatar, we have Narsingh Avatar, which is half man, half lion. So it is all varieties. Lord is infinite. Lord, you should not say Lord is one. Lord, you cannot limit God. He's infinite actually. Lord is not one, not zero. He is infinite. That makes him complete. Not that he is not having form. No, he is having form. He's infinitely having form. He has an infinite number of forms, and he exists, displayed himself in infinite number of qualities. That's why he is God.
So we like I was just getting some another example to make it clear, like the example of the sun planet, sun globe, and the sun rays which is reaching to us on this earth planet. So that's the another
Yes,
example.
exactly. Yes, exactly. Like, you know, if you are here inside the room and you see sun is outside, but you are getting the sun rays. From that, you are understanding that, oh, sun is there. So this kind of understanding is called Brahman realization, or, you know, the formless realization. So when you come out and, you know, and you try to come out and try to study the surface of the sun, like, you know, how the light is emitting, how the chemical reactions are happening, so that light is coming to me. So that level of understanding is called Paramatma, where you try to understand the form, the phenomena, how the rays are coming. But what's happening inside the sun globe, we don't know. By seeing the surface, we don't know what kind of activities, what kind of people are staying inside that planet, what kind of activities. And, you know, till now science has no knowledge what is happening inside the sun. Are actually some living beings are there, or some activities going on? We say no. Since we don't know, there must be nothing. So that is not a proper justification.
Yes, yes. Like
Since you don't know, so you should be there. That is a black box for us. But the one who knows what's happening inside the sun, the activities inside, people inside, the kind of relation between them, and the kind of activities happening, that is complete knowledge. That is called Bhagwan understanding. The one who knows the God at the most closest level. So that's why, you know, the analogy of sun rays, the sun surface, and the inside the sun globe. This analogy is generally given to explain this concept of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. Yes, they were true.
yes, sir. Another thing which comes up is like when we look at the deities in the temple. So the deities have some specific form, and there are some details which is being taken care of while casting or carving the deities. But what are the basis, or how we can understand that these are somewhere these principles has been provided, so we have to take care of this type of figure, the figure should be like this, size should be like this, so how we can understand that?
Yes, so generally, you know, if your question is like how I can be known that what the form I am watching is the correct form or
Yes,
not,
yes,
that is like, and that is more important. So, you know, so we should see that by seeing the results, you know, by seeing the results, how to see anyone worshipping that deity, what is the level of consciousness of that person. If he is divine, he's getting benefited when he's serving in that way. So if I also serve in that way, I will also get benefited by seeing the person who are worshipping them. That's how we decide. That's how we decide that yes, this particular form is bona fide, this particular process is bona fide, by seeing the output. Any person who is actually worshipping the deities would be internally happy. He will not be after craving, and he will be running after like, you know, mundane things of this material world. He won't be greedy, he won't be lusty, he won't be running after sense gratification, he won't be unnecessarily angry, because there are two kind of anger. One is called positive anger, one is called negative anger. He will not be unnecessarily angry. And then there's something called envy. He doesn't envy anybody. So that kind of special qualities are rare to find in this world. So, but anyone who is connected to the divinity must be having these qualities. So by seeing these qualities, we can decide that whether the particular form which people are worshipping is actually effective or not.
Where, like, I want to ask, where do we get this clear picture, clear understanding that the form has to be like this only or like that only? So where do we get the details from?
Yeah, it is very strictly from our scriptures. It has to be from the scriptures. As one example I given, Shamam Tribhanga Lalitam Niyata Subhavam. This is from Brahma Samhita. Brahmaji is saying about the form of Krishna. So if this kind of specific information, like Lord Nrsimhadev, it has a specific, like there are form like Ugram Viram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatomukham. It is stored in like the shloka. So there is a different form. How the Ugra form should look like. Ugram. That Ugra form is Ugra Nrsimhadev. Viram. There is a Viram Nrsimhadev. I went to Ahobilam. There are 9 different kind of Nrsimhadev. deities are there. So Ugra is like coming out of the pillar is called the Ugram form. Then the Viram form, when he is fighting, there is a called Hiranyakashipu and there is Nrsimhadev, and both are fighting. That is called Viram form. Then Mahavishnu form, he is also Mahavishnu. Ugram Viram Mahavishnu Jwalantam, that is called Jwala Nrsimhadev. That Jwala Nrsimhadev form is when Nrsimhadev is there on his half sitting position and Hiranyakashipu is lying on his lap and he is tearing apart his stomach. So that is called Jwala Nrsimhadev form. Ugram Viram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatomukham. And there is called form of a different animal. Varaha Nrsimhadev form. Varahadev. That is also a kind of Nrsimhadev form. That is called Marja Nrsimhadev form. So there are so many forms of Nrsimhadev itself, which is not like human, only body of human, plus the face of a different entity, lion. But the form are very specific. Ugram Nrsimhadev means it has to be coming out of scripture, of the pillar. He should be angry, ferocious, and it should be ready to kill Hiranyakashipu. And there is Jwala Nrsimhadev form, half-sitting posture, and there would be Hiranyakashipu on his lap, and he would be tearing apart his stomach, his belly. So this form is called Jwala Nrsimhadev. So very specific details are there. How his earrings look like, how his teeth are there, how his nails are there. Nails are like sharp short, and the finger is like soft like lotus. Such kind of very specific details are there. He wears what he wears, pushp he wears. He comes with Anant Shesh. All those details are there. So very nice question. These details are very well mentioned in scriptures.
I was just getting the clear idea that it is just like when we study in the lower standards, like 6 or 7. Generally, teachers or the books teaches about the different personalities or the great personalities or the legendary person. So although they are not in front of us physically, but still we get to know about them by reading about them, by hearing about them, and then we make a clear picture that okay, this personality is this personality is that, like that. So
yes, that's a very good example. That there are many people in India who never seen George Bush or never seen John F. Kennedy, never known about Abraham Lincoln. But since they have heard of them, so they know that there was some people known as these peoples. Like people may have heard of Hitler also, but none of them have seen it. Even I have never seen, but I know there was a person in history called Hitler, and he has done so many things which people are still traumatized for. So that's why the source of the knowledge is very authentic and has some benefit in my life. The most important thing that it has some benefit in my life. It has some level of role in my life to play, so that it can have some value. So this knowledge is not the superficial knowledge for intellectual pleasure I am taking. This knowledge actually improves my consciousness and improves my way of thinking and makes me a better person. So that's very, very important, that the special role this knowledge plays. So that's why this is very important, that knowing about any other person has no value, but knowing about God is very, very significant. So that's very interesting thing.
Okay, sir. So we are heading towards the end of this talk. So I would request you to give just a short message at the conclusion of this talk for our interested viewers or dear viewers?
Yes, sure. So, there are many Bollywood movies may criticize, ये पत्थर को अगर पूजे, they पत्थर की worship करते हैं people, these kind of are bogus thing. There are many things people, Kabir also says, अगर तुम पूजो पत्थर तो मैं पूजू पहाड़. So this is like, I will say this is lack of understanding. They are not having proper knowledge. They have not gone through the science of this deity worship properly. If you go through the science, then you have some practical things to do. Then you get the results. Like, in our science, we read the theory, then we do practical, so we get the results. In a similar way, you get the knowledge from scriptures, implement in front of the practical is called, we have deities, we have worshipping methods, you follow them, and finally, when your heart will get satisfied and happy, you get the result. So you try it. Every one of you, whosoever is watching the video, please try this process, and it will be helpful for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, dear viewers, I request all of you, whosoever is watching this video right now, or whosoever gets by any means, please, I hope that most of your doubts has been cleared by the sir in a very nice manner. But still, if you have some doubts, you can be connected to the Inspire official page, and then you can leave your comments there, and we will reach out to your comments, reach out to you, and then we will analyze the things. Then we will make the video based on your comments. So thank you for watching this, and as much as possible, share it with others also. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arjun.
Thank you, sir.